Good morning everybody, and welcome to episode 37 of Weird Mind Newsroom. Now, this week we're going to be delving into some of the start of the big releases of the year, a few new forms of trailers that came out this week, as well as some topics of news, which is mainly a lot of casting news. So, let's not waste too much time, and let's just get right into all that came out this week.
It's like you said to Harry, this ain't that kind of movie, bruv.
So starting the week of new releases, we have the newest spy flick with a lot of twists and turns and an all-star cast with the newest film from Matthew Vaughn with Argylle. Now this film follows Ellie Conway, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, a reclusive author of the best-selling series of spy novels who ends up being part of an extensive espionage mission when it turns out that all of her stories on the spy of Argylle, in this played by Henry Cavill, have turned out to be very closely accurate to how they played out in the real world. Now the reception on this film hasn't been receiving the best reviews. There was some praise to performances, especially for Howard, Sam Rockwell and Cavill. And its action scenes as well. It has been getting a bit more mixed with its extensive twists and the lengthy runtime over 2 hours, all being the effect of the whole ordeal. Now I know I'm looking forward to giving this a watch, and I probably will in the next few days, and you can check this film out now as it's available in cinemas. Now to any of the US watchers that may see this next one may be wondering why I have this film here, as it's been out since Christmas in America, but we've only received this film here this week, and that is the newest animated film from Illumination with Migration. Now this follows a family of mallards who decide that they want to get out and see the world beyond their home at the pond and decide to migrate for a vacation in Jamaica, but end up going in the wrong direction and end up having to deal with the urban jungle of New York, as well as trying to find their way to their island getaway destination. Now, the reception on this has been decently received for its visuals, its simple story, and its message as well. And even if it's not the most original stories or things, it seems like a harmless fun. And if you want to check it out for yourself and see with the whole family, then you can catch it now in cinemas. And as for the last of the films of this week is another new animated film, and this is coming to us from Dreamworks and Netflix with the new film of Orion and the Dark. Now this story follows Orion, a young boy who is afraid of just about everything, and especially just the dark. So when the embodiment of Dark himself takes him on a journey with some of his pals, he'll make it his mission to show there's nothing to be afraid of, and do so before the sun rises on a new day. Now reception on this one has been garnered some very decently strong reviews from its story, its message, and its tone. And if you want to check it out for yourself, you can now watch it and stream it on Netflix. And as for TV, this week you're seeing a film that brought together a popular celebrity couple back in the early 2000s and is now back with a new original TV series version with an update, the series of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Now this series will see two professional spies teaming up together to go undercover as a married couple of John and Jane Smith and have to deal with repercussions along the way. Now the reception on this one has also been well received for its tone, its comedy, and its strong chemistry with the two main leads, Donald Glover and I blank on the other name, but basically both two leads have been very well praised. And you can check out this full new series now as it's all available on Amazon Prime. And for the last of the new releases this week is probably the most talked about thing on the internet, and that's with the newest game from Rocksteady Studios with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now in this new multiplayer co-op or single player game, you can play as Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark as you are assigned by Amanda Waller as Task Force X with an impossible task of killing the Justice League, who have been brainwashed by Brainiac to destroy the world, and the bad guys are about to become the heroes. Now this game has garnered what I would say is a very mixed reception, with praise mainly going to its concept. Its story has been garnered some praise, characters are liked, and the visuals, with some critiques for its gameplay over time, its repetitive mission pattern, and the basis of it being a live service game, as well as a strong complaint about the outcome of one particular character, but I'll probably delve into that more when I do a review on it soon. Now, I haven't played it myself, and I will play it because I've been looking forward to this game, and what I've seen from gameplay, from some channels I've watched who've enjoyed it, I think it looks like a lot of fun, and even when I've seen one or two of the outcomes, I think it still looks like a fun time. Plus what they give the roadmap for the content looks pretty decently good as well. But if you want to try it out for yourself and get your own opinions, you can now play it on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And with that, that's all the new releases that we have for this week. Presentation! So this trailer released last week at the end of it, but I had already recorded the episode, so I didn't want to tag it on. But this one seems we're going to be bombarded with the extensive marketing on these movies and their continuation, as we got the first trailer for Despicable Me 4 this week. Now, this new film will see Gru as the best agent in the Anti-Villain League and as a happy man with a loving wife, of 3 young girls, who have not aged even after the 4 films, and been in army, possibly a brother still, and now a new baby boy with Gru Jr., which... You mean to tell me that Gru did the absolute despicable on Lucy, got a bit jiggy, and now has a boy? Sorry about that, but it all becomes a worry when the family is threatened by a villain known as Megamind and they must go into hiding, and Gru must use his new ally to help take him down. Now, I think these films seem to be okay, and I'm hoping that the film is a decent watch and the villain is actually entertaining. We'll have to find out more as content releases for this film in forms of marketing and trailers and posters and stuff, and this film releases to the public on July 12th. When you feel a chill and it doesn't look good, who are you gonna call? Yes, we've received an all-new trailer for the upcoming 4th official canon in the Ghostbusters franchise with Frozen Empire. Now, this new film will see the cast and the original team up with the kids and adults of the relatives of Egon as they team up to take down a new chilling threat that has been unleashed from an ancient artifact, and if not stopped, could create a second ice age upon the earth. Now, I liked the last movie, and the original 2 are also a fun watch, and I think this looks decent, and hopefully it turns out good when this film releases into cinemas on March 22nd. And now for one of 2 trailers that will be relating to 2 news stories from the next section, with this particular trailer anyway, we got a word of a remaster to a popular game in the Fast Blue Hedgehogs library, and now has been confirmed with a questionable titled Sonic X Shadow Generations. Oh no, what is he doing? Now, this game is not a new dating sim of Sonic and Shadow, and I would advise put safe search on when you're looking for that, but it's the announcement of a remaster to the popular Sonic Generations game that sees modern Sonic team up with classic Sonic to help save the world from a time-traveling threat. Now, this is also going to include some new form, like similar to Bowser's Fury, that's going to have a new Shadow gameplay section that's going to be tied into the Adventure series and its own spin-off game, although I don't know how much of they're going to have with... He's going to have guns, and if we're going to get like the really sassy devil who wants to help Shadow earn sin points. But we'll have to find out how it plays when this game releases on PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and Series X and S, Switch and PC sometime this fall. And another trailer from the State of Play news that we're going to talk about has been from a story that has been a bit quiet over the year, and this is from visionary director Hideo Kojima with the unveiling of his gameplay for the sequel to Death Stranding with On the Beach. Now, this new game will have you play as Sam Bridges once again as you continue your journey across vast lands and fight against the strange creatures of the Strand to find other survivors and ask the questions along the way of, should we have connected in the first place? Now, these games are ones that are seen as, what does it mean? Because I'm certain that most people, and even Kojima himself has stated that he doesn't know what this whole game means, but we'll have time to figure it all out when the game releases not until some point next year in 2025. And wrapping up on trailers for this week is with the trailer I was not expecting to see, and the outcome is one that I do not know how to feel about. But we're talking about a sequel to the beloved 2010 cult classic Dreamworks film of Megamind, with Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. Now, this film follows on from the original, with Megamind becoming the new hero of Metro City and forming a new crew of heroes to take on his old team of the Doom Syndicate and try to turn them from villains to good Samaritans. Now, what I've learned with this is that it's the plot of the original tie-in games from the original film when they released, and then there's also the fact that none of the film's cast involves, no Will Ferrell's, no Tina Fey's, no anyone. And I really don't know how to feel about it when they could have given us like a sequel, like a Puss in Boots Last Wish effort, but I guess they were busy with some more adaptations, and the newest Kung Fu Panda film, which I can get a pass to because Kung Fu Panda 4 looks great, but it does look a bit underwhelming with the animation as well. Now, this is also tying into a new series releasing on the same day entitled Megamind Rules, where it's his mission to become the first superhero social media influencer, which just really feels wrong and is going to make that series and film dated. But I guess we'll find out how it all turns out when both of these release on Peacock in the States and somewhere over here sometime soon on March 1st. And with all of that, that brings us to the end of the trailers for this week.
I do enjoy the planet's grapes. The grapes are delicious.
So, I just want to start off this section of the news with a bit of a sad announcement, which is the passing of a legend in film and television and sport as well, and this was the actor of Carl Weathers. Now, to some of you may recognize his performance as recent in the role of Greef Karga over the recent 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, as well as directing around 9 episodes of that show, and possibly I think the Boba Fett series or something. He also played Colonel Dylan in Predator, Derek Peterson in Happy Gilmore, and many more roles in film and television. Now, he was also a very strong sports star and had a career in his early days in the NFL, and he will be remembered for his work for many years to come from his fans of his work, his professional football, as well as from professionals of actors he worked with, including Adam Sandler and Sylvester Stallone. Now, he passed away a few days ago at the age of 76, peacefully in his home, surrounded by loved ones. I hope that this legend of acting and sports will rest in peace. We just give him a moment of silence. Now, for the first proper news story of this week, we are starting with a certain pattern of the news, which is of course based on the focus of casting news. And we start with the news courtesy of the DC Universe. Now, we've entered this period where we'll be seeing the beginning of James Gunn's and Peter Safran's planned vision for the DCU, and one of the planned projects for the first wave of films and shows is one focus on the character of Supergirl. Now, initially my thoughts were that they would keep Sasha Calle on from the end of the Flash movie into the new universe, as he did with the likes of John Cena for Peacemaker and Zola Madurena's Blue Beetle for upcoming titles, because they kind of see Blue Beetle as the first in the DCU. But this new casting rundown has proven that they may not be the case, unless she's brought back for the likes of an Elseworlds film or a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie. As you've seen the confirmation of who will be donning the cape for Kara, as with Australian actress of Millie Alcock. Now, she is a more up-and-coming actress that, to fans, she is known for her excellent, albeit slightly short performance as Rhaena Targaryen in the Game of Thrones prequel series of House of the Dragon. And honestly, I think she is quite a great choice performance for the character, and I think honestly she did a great job. Also, side note, I think she would have also been a pretty good performance as Gwen Stacy in the upcoming MCU versions of Spider-Man, but you know, they probably have someone else in mind for that, so. Now, there's a case that we will see her make her first appearance in the upcoming Superman movie with Legacy, which is projected to start filming, I believe, in March, and then they will be starring in their own film of Woman of Tomorrow, which will be following on sometime afterwards. I think they said about a year or two after, so it could be by 2027, but I'm sure it'll be worth an interesting look into, and hopefully this will be taking on directing duties for the film as well. We'll have to find out soon enough. They have a writer, but we'll have to see who's directing it, but we should hopefully learn more about this very soon. What are your thoughts on this casting, and do you think they made a good choice on the casting of Kara, or should they have continued with Sasha Calle? Also, who do you see directing the film when you get to see pre-production phases? In my head, I can definitely see, like, if Greta Gerwig can do like a good period piece, a product piece, I think she could do a pretty good superhero piece. Let her run well with it, you know, it'd be interesting to see. But let me know your opinions down below in the comments, and let's discuss it there. Now, on the second story, we'll be delving into the next story of casting news, and this is a follow-up to the news that I brought last week, which is talking about the upcoming third entry in the Sonic the Hedgehog film franchise. Now, this is not a follow-up on those rumors of who will be playing Shadow in the film, which is still up in the air and could still be Hayden Christensen, but rather we have some news that follow along with an official look at the new logo for the third film, which I'll show here, which also is a remix of a supposed song of Live and Learn in the 20-second teaser. But what we could mention is that one was that up in the air for a bit, and a confirmation of some new cast members to the list. And I will start with the news that it has been confirmed Jim Carrey is coming back for the third entry, as well as the rest of the cast in the first 2 films. So, you know, we're going to see him in some capacity, which is always a plus. Now, as for the other confirmations, we have seen an extensive list of other cast members joining, which has included Kristen Ritter from Jessica Jones, Aliyah Brown, who's been in 3,000 Years of Longing from George Miller, James Wolk from Mad Men, Sofia Pernas from The Brave, Crisio Fernandez from Ted Lasso, and Jorma Taccone, known for his performance as one of the members of The Lonely Island. Now, I've also been added to the cast. Now, it's unknown of who is playing who, but to give some predictions I'm going to run down here, I'm feeling that Brown will be playing the young girl of Maria, so it's going to be like an adventure and Shadow the Hedgehog film. Ritter will either be Rouge or Amy, with Pernas playing the other role, or even introduce Blaze in the series. And then for the other roles, this one could be Shadow, but it's unknown right now, or it could be the introduction of the Chaotix team with possibly Vector and Espio, or even the likes of one of Eggman's robots, or Metal Sonic. And then for some reason, I see with Jorma for some reason is going to introduce Big the Cat, and then for about 20 minutes this film is just solely dedicated to Big fishing and looking for Froggy. Now, I can see any of the male cast cast playing Shadow or a Metal Sonic, but for Shadow I still feel Hayden Christensen may still be playing the role from that film, but we'll have to see when they confirm who's playing who and what other characters appear in the series as the film plot gets revealed over time before it's released sometime this December. But once I hear anything, I'll update in a later video. But what are your thoughts on these castings, and do you think every character will be playing in this, and are you happy for the return of Jim Carrey for its first time movie? Because I know I am. I feel like case it wouldn't work without a, classic Eggman, pretty funny they just start dropping snap cute jokes. It's like,
You fool! I have 70 alternative accounts!
now let me know your thoughts and choices down below, and let's discuss who's playing who. So as I previously brought up in the trailer section, we have 2 new releases as well as a cavalcade of other stuff that was announced at this week's State of Play. And I'm going to be delving into a quick fire round and explaining all the other stuff that was announced this week at the State of Play event. So as mentioned, we saw the announcement of a remaster for Sonic Generations with a new Shadow the Hedgehog expansion attached with it that will be coming out in the fall of this year. And Death Stranding 2 also got a new subtitled game with On the Beach and will be coming out in 2025. Now as for some of the other announcements, we got some new footage of the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake that looks cool, but I'm questioning why there was a heavy rock music used in the trailer. It just makes it less unsettling. They also announced that we got an all-new Silent Hill game that was announced as the short message that was released after the event and is also free, so I'll definitely be giving it a go when I can. We saw some launch trailers for the upcoming release of Helldivers 2, a launch trailer for Legendary Tales, and a new season info trailer for the Splatoon-like game of Foam Stars, all coming out next week. Dave the Diver, one of the most popular indie games from last year, is getting a release on the PlayStation consoles in April of this year and will also be receiving some DLC based on Godzilla the following month. We got a new look at the gameplay and story for the upcoming release of Dragon's Dogma 2 and Shadow the Ronin, which is both releasing on the 22nd of March next month. We got a new look at the story and gameplay of the new game from the developers of Bioshock with Judas, which is coming out sometime soon, maybe the end of this year or next year. But as for late 2024, we got the announcement of a new VR entry in the long-running Metro series entitled Metro Awakening, and we got the announcement that we are getting a remaster in the 2015 PS4 game, which is tying into news about their movie adaptation last week of Until Dawn for PS5 and PC. That kind of looks a bit downgraded slightly. It's only going off the Psycho Mask, which I'll put up here. They just look different. That's just me. And hopefully we get some new content in that game as well. The last thing I want to bring up is that Hideo Kojima himself also made an appearance and announced that he is working on a new game, a new tactical espionage game. It's similar in vein to his Metal Gear Solid franchise that's coming out soon, as well as working on Death Stranding 2, the Death Stranding movie adaptation with A24, as well as the OD game with Jordan Peele. So he's a busy man. That is all that we have announced, and they are decent game announcements. 1 or 2 I felt they could have added as well, like possible Spider-Man DLC, or there was one other one I can't remember, it's gone out of my head, but I'm sure we'll probably see more over time, as we are getting another State of Play next week that's focusing on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and also case most likely Nintendo will follow on in the next week or 2 with their own direct, announcing probably some new first party and third party ports and remasters and all stuff before the new Switch console later in the year. But all in all, I think it was a decent direct, and hopefully we get some more decent ones like this over time with all the companies. But what are your thoughts on all these announcements, and is there any that you felt they should have announced in particular, or did they miss out on? But as always, let me know down below in the comments below what you think, and let's discuss what you're most looking forward to playing. And these last 2 stories, I couldn't really fit into any of them, but we're talking about a new title announcement for an upcoming film this year, as well as a rumored casting news for an upcoming final film for a certain director. So I'm going to mold them together and talk about them now. So first off is some new unveiling to the upcoming sequel to the 80s classic horror comedy, Beetlejuice. Now, if you're unaware and have seen my upcoming video now in the next couple days, you may know we are getting a sequel to that film coming out this September. And while we are a little bit away from a trailer, we have received an all-new poster, which is a nod back to the first film's ending, but also gives us the name of the sequel, which is now going by Beetlejuice. With a third one probably going to add a third name to that list as well, which would make him be summoned to you. Now, I think it's a fun little play on approach for the upcoming film, and usually when a poster for film releases, a trailer is not too far behind, so possibly we could see it at Super Bowl, but I don't know. We'll have to see when that event rolls around next week, and I'll talk about it in 2 weeks' time. But as for the rumored info, we're talking about the upcoming release of the final film from Quentin Tarantino, which has been project entitled The Movie Critic. Now, the plot for this film is unknown, and no cast has been announced as of yet, or even a release date, but we have received our first supposed casting for this project, and this is with actor Brad Pitt. Now, this of course has worked together with Pitt, of Tarantino, has starred alongside DiCaprio in the 2019 film of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a film that I found film decent, a bit underwhelming, but I'd probably have to give it another rewatch to see what probably made me feel that and might be opinions change. And it makes sense to see them team up again for another project. Now, whether or not this will have him as the main lead in the film is anyone's guess, but I'm sure as more and more news starts to come along and Quentin starts to get work on his film into production, I'm sure we'll see the official casting get released onto the interwebs as well as the plot and release date for the film, but all we can do now is speculate on the rumored casting and this final film. But what are your thoughts on the announcement of this new title for Beetlejuice, and do you expect a trailer in the next few days? And also, what are your opinions on who will be playing in the upcoming Tarantino film, and do you think Brad Pitt is going to be the main lead? Hard to say, but let me know what you think down below and we can discuss about who could be cast in this film. But after all that, that is all of the news that we have for this week.
And now, ducks.
And with all that ramblings out of the way, that brings us to the end of the 37th episode of Weird Mind Newsroom. Hope you enjoyed all the discussions and my episodic series I do every week. I try to find the motivation to finish the other stuff, my reviews and rewatchathons while I'm working in the process. So yeah, as I mentioned in that case, I am going to get to doing the reviews eventually. I just need to find the motivation. I've got ideas for like TikTok videos to do for these concepts of like promotions and shit. As well as rewatchathon, I need to like finish off like looking at these 10 films and getting the footage and recording the other bits, but I'll get to that instance. There is an instance that I will have one video out this week, which is going to be, I'm recording now in a few minutes, which is my delving into talking about all my most anticipated content of 2024 from movies, TV shows, and games that I'm aware of. I probably missed a few of them, but you know, you get the gist with all this stuff. But I'm definitely going to be delving into that sort of stuff. Also going to be kind of brainstorming ideas for sequel, for like, you know, follow-ups on long form videos, some reviews, other gameplays, all this sort of stuff, ASMR, book readings, kind of like all that sort of good juicy stuff. So that is coming. It's just a case that January is one of those months that really just drains you and just gives you no motivation. And also the case I'm still clearing out that room because most cases in my instance, I want to get a bit more organized and sort my life out a bit, while also trying to find some work. And I've got some bits coming up this week that I need to sort out. But yeah, that's my own personal grievances. But yeah, I'm also, there's at least one of the other ones I want to talk about is like similar to the case with the Suicide Squad one. I do want to do like a video on controversial games, like games that basically how were anticipated, but also had like controversial divide, like this one, the live service situation, or something like Hogwarts Legacy and a few other ones. But I'll delve into that when I get to it. But anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough, and I'm going to leave it there. So if you like this video and want to see more from me, then why not simply like the video and subscribe, as I upload at least once a week and hopefully to release more videos every week to get like a better, more entertainment value, and I hope to grow a larger community over time. So if you want to join, hello and welcome with open arms. Comment below on all the opinions and discussions of what was discussed this week. Have you seen any of the films or releases this week? Have you played any of them? Like, what your thoughts? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Did your opinion about them? I'd love to hear. Give your thoughts on the trailers and all the discussion points, as well as all the news topics. What are your opinions on all of them? I'd love to hear your discussion, and I'd love to have a conversation with all these down below in the comments. I'm just rambling on here, but you know, you get the gist. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. So thank you all for watching. You all stay being wonderful people. Have a great day every day, doing many great things, and you know, I've good faith that you'll do great successful things for all of it. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video. So take care, keep being you, and I'm signing off.